Hello, hello, everyone, Team Freedom Factory. Welcome to this really super special call. We have a really special guest today. Her name is Toni Vanschoyck. She happens to be our fabulous upline. She's direct to corporate. She's the first Monat founder. She's the first $1 Million Club member. A lot of firsts there. And she's coming to us live from her fabulous home in South Carolina today. So this is going to be our May kickoff call. Toni will give us her best tips for starting off the month strong, and also how to check in with your goals periodically to make sure that you're on track, as well as how to carry through that really kind of exciting feeling that you have inside you right now all the way till the end of the month. So I'm going to hand it over to Toni, and here we go. Welcome, Toni. And thanks.
Hi, everybody. And Pile, thank you so much for asking me to do this. I love doing stuff like this, just to be out there and just touching people and helping them. And the great thing is it's so funny when you asked me to do this. This actually was a call that I did with SED Jessica Shoney 2 days ago. And then it was so funny because then Mandy Schweers did one with Ann Fisher 2 nights ago. So we're all on the same page and we didn't even know it.
Awesome. That's fabulous.
But again, and it's so funny because I listened to what I teach, coach, and train. And, again, it's about being duplicatable. It's the same message that Jessica Shoney delivered. It was the same message that Mandy and Ann delivered. And you know what, you guys, honestly, at the end of the day, even though what we do is monotonous because it's the same behavior over and over again, it's the new people that we bring in that keeps that excitement and that passion for our businesses keep going. So I get more excited when I get a brand new market partner and they're onboarding, they're doing their ribbon cutting, and going through the same steps we did when we first started. But I'm going to give you some things that I do every single month that I know our top leaders do every single month. And based on my conversations with Pile, I know you guys are the same, very duplicatable. And I know Mandy has just been amazing. And Mandy and I actually, she was the very first market partner that partnered up with me when we started in Monat almost 4 years ago. So we've been here since the beginning. And you know what? We created our own systems because we didn't have any with Monat. I just took what I knew from before, applied what worked. And that's really what we've, it's evolved into is the onboarding. I mean, to make it really the simplest thing possible is the best. And that's why I love, our onboarding and our income producing activities. So the one thing that I do every single month, 3 to 4 days prior, depending on what day the month falls on, I am setting up my goals for the next month. Okay. So that's the first thing. So when you're on the first, you should not be taking that as an office day. You should have set aside some time aside the week prior to say, okay, here's where we're at. Here's what we need to do for next month. Right now, we're still in momentous growth. We'll be in hockey stick growth for probably, a very long time. But you can base your numbers on, and again, we'll have months that will be anomalies, okay? We were, a little bit down in, January, February? We were a little bit down last month. But you know what? Massive momentum sometimes when we have these months that are just like off the charts, it just kind of is self-correcting. Or, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of times when people are buying flash sales, they have stocked up on inventory. That's okay. We know that, but we always have the tools to you. And at 9 o'clock Eastern time, or when you guys wake up, because I know there's a 3-hour time difference there, that Monat is going to give you the tools that you need for every month to help with promotions. So that's the first thing. You've got to be using that, utilizing that only for you with your VIP customers. You've got to be utilizing whatever, they're giving us for extra incentives to sign up to become a market partner and the enhancements that they made. You guys, you've got a lot of stuff to work with this month. You've got bigger, better product packs with a ton of more samples in them. You've got, oh my gosh, there's so many. I'm just drawing a blank. We've got the OFY. We've got the kickoff products. So there's a lot of things that people have to work with this month. So this month should be a no-brainer. This month, honestly, is going to be our best month ever. I can already tell by numbers, and it's only day 3. So the one thing is that right now, because we're still in that growth phase, it should be your goal to grow your personal business 20% every month. Grow your PV, your VIP customers, your personally sponsored market partners, and your GV 20% every month. And then if you are at a rank where you have division volume, you have that DV volume or the CV volume, also too, 20%. But don't get frustrated if it's not by the time you get done. The reason is that you need to do 4 check-ins a month. You need to do it the first week. I say 10 days, 15 days, week 3. And then of course, the last 3 days of the month, you should be checking every day anyways. All right. Now, the other thing that you need to do is if you have brand new market partners, okay, is that they're going to need extra coaching. You've got to go in and look at their organization, look at their numbers, see what they need, and say, okay, you know what? You're already at MMP, but to get to A and B, you need one more market partner with a product pack. That will give you your A and B numbers. Let's say if they're at like 2,000 group volume, if they have somebody that's going to get, the big product pack, they're going to have that enough numbers for A and B, and they're one person away from that rank. So make sure with your group volume market partners, not just personally sponsored, because if they're not an MMB yet, they're still going to need coaching. They're still going to need handholding. You're still going to need to break that down for them. Also too, with your runners, okay, and even though sometimes it's not always that personally sponsored that is your go-getter, it's somebody that they've sponsored, that somebody else has sponsored, that somebody else has sponsored. So let's say they're on your level 4, but they're sponsoring. They have VIP acquisition, and you can tell that by your Monat corporate report in Vibe. And I check that daily. Okay, who's new, who's sponsoring, who's got numbers in, because I want to make sure that I'm taprooting into my GV team. So that's really, really important. If you have market partners that are MMBs on your line, okay, and so again, you still need to set the expectation. If they're MMB, last month, they need to be an AMM this month, because the group volume isn't any different. You've got to be that person that is looking for those leaders that are going to work the business. And you always want to be forward focusing on business, because if they flatline or go backwards, their check goes backwards, they get deflated. We don't want that to happen, but we also don't want them to go into management mode. Okay. So do those 4 check-ins throughout the month. And then the last 3 days, you just have to be really proactive with your numbers. Okay. I also say that no matter at what level I'm at, I am a brand new market partner on the first of every single month. I love the reset button. It's really cool. But my goal is to build a block every single month. Now, a lot of times that can be challenging for me because I'm a stronger recruiter than I am a VIPer. That's okay. I'll take 4 market partners in a month and 1 VIP. I'm all right with that. But still, you're doing the do. And honestly, you know what? I've always viewed it as sponsoring is the backbone of our business, but you've got to qualify them. Does it make sense for them to be a market partner, or does it make sense for them to be a VIP? So you know what? Make sure that you are qualifying all of your potential new people coming into your business, and teach your team to do the same. If they just strictly say, I want a bigger discount, I want, a bigger selection of products for a cheaper price, let them become, I quote unquote, a kidnapper. They're willing to spend the money for the smallest product pack to get the bigger discount and to get a lifetime discount from here on out. It's going to be well worth it, because a lot of times what they find is that, their family members are wanting to try the product because they see the difference in their hair. So they're, letting them buy even at their discount. And then all of a sudden they've got a couple of people buying from them, and then they realize they have a business. So, and again, then if you have somebody that says, I absolutely want to have nothing to do with the business, I just want to get a great discount, I'm willing to order every 2 to 3 months, those people are VIPs. Okay. But, also too, I also know that if somebody's going to be really, really great at the business, I want to try to get them to sign up as a market partner for the bigger discount, because they're going to have more tools that if they're poking back around in their back office, you just never know. Okay. So that's the other thing. And then a lot of times you'll have market partners that will come on board and they'll be like, well, I really don't want to, do the business, but you know what? I want to sell to some family and friends, and I want to get my product paid for. And I tell them, I said, look, I need 15 minutes so I really can go through what the business can do, because I don't think you understand it. So every time you bring in a new market partner, no matter where their level of interest is, you need to be onboarding them, and so does your team. Okay. Now, with that being said, not all of your team is going to onboard, and that's fine. you have to tap into your GV people. Now, if you have leaders that promote out, which I have had this happen across the board, they're not supporting their teams, okay? I don't care what they're telling me. If their teams are not getting support and I have a potential to find talent in that leg, I'm gonna go taproot and I'm gonna go work with their people. Because if they're not onboarding them, if they're not supporting them, they're not doing the job that they signed the contract and the policies and procedures to do. I am all for that. I don't care. I have an MM. She has one leg of 6 MMMs in her leg. I work with them, and even though I'm working with the gal that's 3 levels down, who's an MMM going to director this month, okay, she's not working with them. I tapped rooted into them because I knew that they had the potential to be successful. So, again, look at and do your reports and look and see who is working, because you'll be able to tell, because they have VIP acquisition every month. They have market partner acquisition every month. And don't be afraid to, because if the leader isn't doing the job, then that's where we step in and we step it up, because you never know if they go director or if they rise above them, they're still going to be in your generation pay, which is awesome. And that's where you make a heck of a lot more money anyways. So I know I got off track there a little bit. I'm sorry. I just get really excited about developing leaders. But I want to talk about, again, kick-assing your month from the 1st until the 30th or 31st. So the one thing is, I don't care where you're at. I don't care what you're doing. You have to think like you're a director. You are a director. And even though you're not a director now, you are going to be a director in the future, whatever that is. But here's the thing, set your goal and work that plan backward. Create action steps. And by you growing your business 20% every month, do you know that you could potentially be at AED anywhere between 6 and 15 months from now if you keep that 20% growth up month over month over month? The other thing is too, is that you have to have laser focus, okay? Because, and I'm going to address this because this is me, and you can agree to disagree with me. That's fine. I don't see eye to eye with everybody, but laser beam focus means that you're plugging into our tools that we have, that we know that work, that are duplicatable. Market Partner Academy, our onboarding training, and the income producing activities. If you focus on your personal business, your team will focus on their personal business. And that is how you grow 20% every month, maybe even more. But if you're teaching your team to, and again, I tell new market partners, don't go back into Market Partner Academy until after we've onboarded, after we've done the income producing activities, and after you scheduled your business launch within 5 to 7 days. Because I'm going to be working with them on the phone to do connection calls for people that are not going to attend their launch. I am going to be coaching, teaching, and training them and building that personal relationship with them. Now, with that being said, about 3 to 4 days in, I'm like, you know what? Take 20 to 30 minutes a day, okay? Turn off social media, turn off the TV, and invest in Market Partner Academy. But I want to be hands-on with them the first 72 hours. That's really important to me. And honestly, if they're not scheduling their launch within 5 to 7 days, I've documented it, you guys. They don't have as good of a turnout because, number one, people don't have enough time to think of something else to do. Number two is that market partner is super, super excited. Now, I know life happens. I know holidays come up. That's a given. But the faster you get them into momentum and at their business launch, they should be an MMP by the time that business launch is over. They have gotten 2 market partners from that business launch because you have done the meet Monat, you've given the information, you've asked for the close for them, okay? And you know what? The other thing is, you guys, I don't let people walk out of a room without doing something, okay? Now, I know that some personality types are like, I've got to go home and think about this. Great. You know what? Go home, think about it. I'm going to send you a quick clip. Can I count on you to watch it tonight? It's only 10 minutes long. And then can we connect tomorrow? When are you free? Between 2 and 4 or between 7 and 9? Because you want to make sure that you're back in front of them within 24 hours. Okay. But it's really important that we're teaching people to do the same thing that we're doing, but also to don't wait for 2 weeks. Don't wait for 3 weeks until you know everything, because you're not going to know everything. There is 6-month learning curve in any network marketing business. I don't care if it's the comp plan. I don't care if it's the product. We have a very simple way of simplifying both of it. Let's just get you to MMP. Here's what you need. What type of hair do you have? Then we'll get you a system. Still, 4 years later, 95% of the VIPs I sign up, they're getting a system because I know that's going to work synergistically with their hair 95% of the time. Keep it simple. 20 minutes of laser focus a day, that is not training. That is income producing activities. That is reaching out, starting to build new relationships, whether it's going to a chamber event, whether it's going to a meetup, whether it's getting out there, going to a yoga class or something where you're out networking and getting to meet other people. You're out there, okay? You're building relationships. I know that, those things take longer than 20 minutes a day, but even if you were to reach out to people that you find interesting on social media, start building a relationship with them. Send them a message and say, I love your profile. I would love to connect. I just, think that you're really dynamic and I might be able to learn something from following you. Compliment them. Okay. Start out like that, but don't send messages saying, hey, try my product, or what about my business opportunity? I'm like, people send me messages like that all the time. And I said, you do realize you just made a huge mistake, right? But anyways, the one thing is that when you're doing income producing activities every day, okay, adding to your contact list, getting the Meet Monat in front of at least 1 to 2 people a day, and at least 5 days a week, you guys, that's only 2 to 3 hours of investment time. You will have talked to 40 new people by the end of the month. Okay. And then follow up, just follow up with 3 people. Just say, hey, how's it going? It doesn't even have to be about Monat. Maybe you notice that somebody's, sibling or parent or friend is ill because you saw that on their timeline. Do you know how much that means? Send them a private message and say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I just saw what was happening with your sister. Just let you know that I'm sending good vibes. I'm praying for y'all and I hope everything's okay. That will carry you a heck of a lot farther in them, considering anything that you do in the future once they get through their crisis situation, because you showed that you cared. Okay. So laser focus every day. Events. Okay. If your business is struggling, schedule an event. Y'all should be having at least 1 Meet Monat every month, if not 2, if not weekly. If you're in a growing area, rotating it with other leaders, because there's always new people to be brought in. Even if your Meet Monat, you have 3 guests, it's a successful event because you're going to sign 2 of them, right? So events, Meet Monats at every single thing that you do. I don't care if it's a Super Saturday, a Super Sunday, if it's a car presentation, you're getting together. You should be presenting the business because that's the reason you're there in the first place, right? So, and Super Saturdays and Sundays are great for that because you can always invite them to stay for the training as long as they'd like. But you know what? When I do my Super Saturdays and Sundays, and I try to do one every month, but I'm going to different regions for my personally sponsored leaders and my new people, is that I always do onboarding. Always onboarding is part of the training. Because that's really important. And I think we can always do a better job at that. If we were to take all of our new people and onboard them, and they were to take all of their new people and onboard them, we would see a huge spike in, people's activity levels. So events. And you guys, trust and know and have faith in yourself that you know how to do this business, that you can deliver the message, and that you have incredible success lines that you work with. One of my pet peeves is, and again, this is one of those things that you can agree to disagree with me, is that we have so much talent within Monat's leaders. People that, you can get their information for free. You can go to their YouTube. You can go check out their blogs. You can go to any one of these team training groups, because my training group is open for everybody in Monat, even people that are not on our team, because they're willing to share with me their tips. I want us to be they have talent I don't have. They have talent that, some of the people in our organization don't have, but collectively together, we have this, I would say we have the most collective, amazing set of successful people in network marketing that are in our company. So use those talents, use your success line. You guys, look at who you have. You have amazing people that are even outside of Mandy's organization. I share Roxy Henley's tips all the time. She's freaking brilliant, some of the stuff that she comes up with. Randy Ray Clark. Oh my gosh. And I always post these in Team Triumph. And I'm like, you guys, can I steal your stuff? Because this is pretty cool. Because I would have never thought of it. I'm not creative like they are. So, always look, and if it resonates towards you, it's probably going to resonate to your team, because you attract your vibe attracts your tribe. So they're going to resonate in the same way you do. So, always look for those things to share. But the other thing is, personal development, absolutely. Don't get wrapped up in doing 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes of training a day. That's taking away from your income producing activities. And honestly, that you're like, oh yeah, I'm working. Well, really, what are you working on? Because if you're not out there doing the do, you're not learning. And if you're not out there actually talking to people, and if you're not opening your mouth, meeting new people, how are you going to grow your business? It's really difficult. You can't sit behind a computer all the time growing a business. And even on social media should be about half. Okay. The other half is just getting out there and meeting people. And we've got to be teaching our people this. They can't just go talk or write a list of 20 people and think that they're going to become an SED. That's unrealistic. And actually never mind. I won't go there. And have faith, you guys. Have faith and trust that you know that you can be successful at this. Because when you have faith in yourself and self-confidence, that radiates and it will attract more people to you. And you know what? If you're scared or if you're self-conscious, take baby steps. Do something a little bit every day to get you closer to that goal. So if you're scared to do a Facebook Live, you know what? Then just do a quick clip and say, hey, I was challenged to do a Facebook Live. Say, hey, I was challenged to do a Facebook Live. I'm really terrified or scared of doing these, but I'm doing it right now. So thanks you guys for watching. See you later. Even though it only lasts for 10 seconds, you did it. Okay. Talk about something you love. Talk about something that you're passionate about. Even though we love Monat, we love hair, we love everything that we stand for, we love the leadership, all that kind of stuff, that can't be what you're talking about all the time. You'll bore people to death. So, share with things that you love. We've got a couple of aficionados that are horse lovers, dog, lovers, cat lovers. Don't show too many cat videos though. It's like me. If you love gardening, just share something you love, just so people see who you are. They want to see who you are. So, and the other thing is, guys, be present. This is one, follow-up and being present are the two most challenging things I have, because my brain is it's like a zigzag. It's like all over the place. And people that know me, and, also too, and I do this, is that I am intently listening to someone, but I have been trained in my background to always see what's going on around 360. It's, for security. So I'm always checking people walking in the door, and I'm listening and I'm nodding. But sometimes I'm wondering, if somebody walks in and I'm like, okay, who, they give off a weird vibe. But you've got to stay present in the moment and be actively listening to them. I think sometimes when you ask questions, and also too, I'm really bad about doing this because I find as I get older, I lose my thoughts and I can't remember them, is that don't interrupt somebody when they're talking, because then, you know what, you're thinking that you have something to say that is more important than what they have to say, and that's not true. So be present, listen to what they're saying. However, that doesn't mean that you're a carpet or that they can call you complaining about every little situation. I really ask people, I'm like, yeah, how's that affecting your business right now, or affect what's going on? And they're like, or I'll say, okay, so you're proposing this problem to me. How are we going to solve this together? What do you think we should do? Because I'm empowering them, not using you, because that puts people on defense. How, or what are you thinking we can help to get through this hump? Because, I want to help them, coach them through that situation. So be present and listen. And you know what, if it's, the same thing over and over again, I just call people, can I be frank here? I'm just going to call people on their shit. I have some leaders and some market partners that will call me saying the same thing over and over again. And I'm just like, well, you know what, here's the thing. We've had this conversation a couple of times before. And you know what, if that's what you're going to believe, that's what's going to happen. And I can't help you coach you through that until you get out of your own head. Sometimes you just got to hold them accountable. So, yes, but be present. The other thing is too, is I always say you start the first of the month, just like it's the first, the second, the third. Are you getting where I'm going here? all the way until the 31st. We are working our business every single day, just like on the 1st or just like on the last day of the month. And everything in between should be the same. Because here's the thing, when you do that, you're not going to be struggling the last 3 days, pulling your hair out, trying to qualify for your numbers or helping a teammate do that. I always say front load your calendar. Front loading your calendar is the 1st through the 15th. You've got 2 Meet Monat scheduled. You've got 3 prospecting conversations that you're having with people that are interested in the business. You've got a potential of 4 or 5 VIPs that you need to follow up with, and maybe let's say 5 to 10 follow-ups that said no to you a couple of months ago, but now we have new specials we can reach out to them about. So you know what? Make that a cognizant point in your calendar that you are going to focus at least 20 minutes of that laser beam focus on your personal business every single day, but especially through the 1st to the 15th, because here's what happens. From the 15th until the end of the month, okay, you're just like, you're just, numbers are coming in and your paycheck is going up. And I always say too, it's always wonderful to be qualified at your rank by mid-month, because then you're not stressing out and you can focus on qualifying at the next rank. Okay. Now, is that realistic when you start getting up into, AED ranks? No, it is not. But you know what? You very easily can hit 3 or 4 or 5 ranks in your first 30 days. You can okay, should I use the word easy? Yes, I'm going to use the word easy. Because if you're talking to enough people, you shouldn't be pulling your hair out. Most of the times people are not talking to enough people. But let's say you're at MMB this month. 30 days to build an MMB, or let's say somebody's an AMB or an MB. You guys, it's not that difficult. You just have to go out there and do the do, okay? The other thing is excuse-itis. If you use the word but or and, I want you to eliminate those words out of your vocabulary forever, okay? Because they do no good for you. And in a conjunction when you're writing, that's something different. But you know what? Look at yourself, because if you're saying, oh, but I can't do this because of this. Well, the only person that's standing in your way is your butt. So, and the other thing is too, is that we always, the one thing is too, and I've seen this happen as our organization grows bigger. I don't have to talk, the leaders that have been in for a year, 2 years, 3 years, they know what to do. I don't need to reach out to them, even on, they come to me, hey, Toni, I've got a problem. Mandy's great about that. Ann's great about that. Suzanne Krieger, Jackie Belkey, they know I'm always accessible to them. I'm always checking in and say, hey, how's it going? Anything I can do for you once or twice a month. But you guys, I don't need to sit there and babysit them. I want to babysit a brand new market partner. I want to get them to MMB as fast as possible, but also build a sustainable team, not a team that's going to float away in 30 days. Okay. But when you're building a cohesive team and you are out there showing them effective communication, showing them effective onboarding, using the tools that we have to offer, using the amazing leaders that we have in Monat, you're going to find that your business will flow, and your business you will have a much more cohesive team. When you're off doing this, that, and everything else, and it's like, okay, you got to reel it back in and you've got to focus on what makes sense. And that's why I will say income producing activities and onboarding until I vomit, because it's like, you guys, that's the backbone of our business. It really, really is. And it's simple. It's not complicated. Those 4 steps have served us since Mandy and I came together day one, even though at the time, I think they were 10 steps. We just whittled out a lot of the minutia. And I'm telling you, it works. It's worked. So I have sponsored 6 market partners since, was it end of February? All but one of them went to MMP within their first 2 weeks, because we got their launch parties on the books. They went to MMP. A couple of them actually hit AMB this past month, but it's how much investment they're going to make. But when you keep moving when you help them move forward and see what's possible, that's going to make the difference. And the other thing is too, is that they want to know you care. That's the number one reason why people are afraid to sign up to a network marketing business, is because they've experienced where they signed up, they're in a canoe, and then they have no oars because there's nobody there to help them. We can't totally rely on the training materials. There has to be personal touch in our business. But that doesn't mean smother them. Some people are just more self-sufficient, and some people need a little bit more hand-holding. And then some people, you just got to kick them out of the nest. So, but anyways, I think we went through everything. Pillay, was there something else you wanted me to cover?
Oh my gosh, this was more than I could have ever asked for. I am so fired up. I have written 2 full pages of notes. This was absolutely fantastic. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
good. I know I talk fast. Sorry, but that's just the way I roll. So, okay. So
whoever is on the call, if you guys have any questions, put it into the chat box so we can
Yep.
have Toni quickly answer it. But there was one thing that I know that you already touched a little bit about going to MMB as fast as possible, but this is the month when whoever gets to MMB, they're automatically qualified for Bahamas.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Like, I can't even believe that Monat is doing this for us. What would you say for somebody who is, close to MMB or running for that MMB this month? Aside from everything else that you said, is there anything MMB specific that you kind of?
If you have someone that hits MMB in their first 30 days, like first full month here in May, even if they were to come in May 15th, the MMB is doable in 2 weeks. It's going to take some work. But honestly, when they get to MMB, there's a total of the $3,000 in bonuses alone on the table for that market partner. That does not include overrides and commissions on your team. It's actually, this is the US dollar version, so I can't speak to Canadian, Pile. But actually, if they go to MMB, they build a FOMO neighborhood. They get all the rank advancement bonuses. It's $3,200.
Wow.
Right. So that's huge alone, just in bonuses. I'm like, Lord, it's not rocket science, but it's just the bonuses alone. And then, I mean, I would say, why not go for it and jump in with both feet and earn Bermuda? I mean, that's huge.
I think it's massive. I can't even believe they're doing this.
I know, but you know what else it has to be? It has to be that they're willing to do the work. You cannot drag them across the finish line. And that's what Kathy asked me a really good question. What is management mode? It's when you sponsor a market partner and then you step back and you actively kind of take your foot off the gas of your personal business, and you're going to management mode, trying to managing the new market partners, when that should be only 20%, because we have all of the tools that they need to plug into. The most important thing that you can do sponsoring a brand new market partner, next to answering some basic questions, is to be present at their business launch, either via Zoom, Skype, or in person if it's local, and getting that on the calendar. That tells you their level of commitment, okay? And also, too, we find this happens. It happens at MMB, AMM, and MM specifically at those 3 ranks, is that they're like, oh, I've arrived. You know what? I can just, coach everybody. I don't have to focus on my personal business, and my business will grow. It will not. It will stagnate and go backwards. You have to keep bringing in new people. It's a third. It's a third, a third, and a third. A third of people are coming, a third of people are staying, and a third of people are leaving.
For sure. Melanie has a really great question here as well.
Okay, I see a really good question from Arlene too, so I'll come back to that in a second. How do you help someone who wants to sign up as an MP, but they think they don't have time right now to jump into it and just do it? Okay, so let me answer that part first. I asked them, I said, if you don't take a few minutes a day and change what you're doing right now, how do you expect change? Because you're not going to get it. So I really pose a question back to them, and I asked them, I say, how are you expecting change if you're not willing to do something that you're not currently doing right now to change your future situation? I said, because there isn't anything. So, and I tell them, I say, can you carve out 15 to 20 minutes a day, 3 to 4 days a week? And a lot of times people will say, well, I'm not sure. And I say, okay, let's calendar block. Let's see what you have going on. Where does your full-time job come in? Where does your kids' activities come in? Maybe it's exercise, maybe faith, okay? And then I say, well, what do you do with all these other blocks? So, you have on average 2 to 3 hours a day, and they're like, oh, you know what? I'm winding down, I'm, reading a book, or I'm, YouTubing, or, scrolling through Facebook. I'm like, that's where you have your time. Because if most people turn off their TV or stop the social media scroll hole, they're going to find that they have a lot more time on their hands. So that's the first part of that. Answer that question. Oh, and what do you say when someone asks you what you do for a living, a total stranger? I'm like, hi, you know what? I love when people ask me that, because honestly, I get paid to wash my hair. And I said, I have the honor and the privilege to show other people how to do the same thing. And they're like, What do you mean you get paid to wash your hair? I still use that line. I call it my Monat pickup line. Yeah. So, and I mean, just stuff like that. Or sometimes like if it's, and it depends. If it's a mom in a grocery store and you're striking up a conversation, you know, it's going to elicit humor. And I always try to elicit humor, even though, you know, my comments and stuff sound really dumb. But you know, if it's somebody a little bit more formal, like I had a networking event I went to yesterday, there's a lot of suits in the room. There are a lot of guys that ask me, oh yeah, well, what do you do? And I tell them, I said, I have a way for people to start a side hustle, make a multiple stream of income currently to what they're doing right now. So they never have to worry about debt or financial issues ever again in their life, just by changing one simple product that they're using in their household every day.
I love that one.
Yeah. So, and it just depends on the person. Toni, do you have a doc that shows the simple steps to remain focused? No, but I can make one. Also, how do you deal with those who repeatedly say, do not contact my team? They're not, okay, those teams are not their teams. Okay. We're all okay. And so I'm going to be frank here. When they say that, there's usually something shady going on. That's been my experience. Okay. And I tell them and I say, well, first of all, I want to find out why. Number one, if there's a good, legitimate reason. Number two, they don't own those teams. We're in this business collectively together. And if they're doing something that they're not supposed to, or, you know, again, I know that a lot of people that do this are bringing in extrinsic training and they're making money off of that, which, by the way, is against our policies and procedures. We cannot make money, external money off of our market partners, number one. You know, that's a huge red flag for me. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to pressure them and find out why. And then I'm going to go taproot in their organization and I'm going to find out who's working it. And I'm going to send them, oh my gosh, you know what? You got 2 VIPs already this month. You are awesome. You are on fire. So you know what? If you're doing that from a purpose point of supporting them and giving them recognition, yeah, but they don't own that team. So yeah. So yeah. And I've only had 1 or 2 people tell me that. And I put them on the hot seat. I'm like, why? Why would you not want to cohesively work this business together so I can help you build a bigger and better business and a bigger paycheck? So yeah. And you know, I had somebody that did that, and he had like 5 or 6 market partners, and they were turning and burning like $10,000 a month on Amazon Prime and eBay. And he told me and Suzanne, he's like, you are not allowed to contact my team. And I knew he was up to something shady. So I called him on his shit.
Wow.
So.
Well, bringing that one up, actually, Diana, who is on the line, had a customer yesterday who went and purchased from that source. So we're trying to get them reported and everything, but.
Yep. Well, they did boot him out of the company. Okay. He had like 7 different accounts on there. They booted him out of the company, closed his account down, his entire team, because it was all facade, which we have, you know, on a very rare occasion. I've only known of this happening twice, you guys. But when people tell me that, or they're professional network marketers, I run the other direction. I'm like, if you're not going to let me work with your team, I'm not working with you. So you can't be a part of my organization. Plain and simple. And don't be afraid to take it away from somebody. We don't need those people. Okay, let me see. Diane, you don't have your speakers on your computer on, or you didn't test the audio through Zoom, but we're recording it. So you'll be able to have this call. We're in this business collectively. Yeah, the ego. What's my favorite daily planner? I'll show you now. I feel like I've come into a new age, you guys. So this little sucker right here, because I even get notifications. It's even easy for me, and I'm not a techie, and it's Google Calendar.
No way.
You can put notes in there. You'll get notifications. Like, so Peely's call today, thank God I had notifications, because I was feeling a little under the weather and I fell asleep, and I was like, ding, 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 Peely's call. And I was like, oh, I got to get up. But it has everything in there. You can put flight information in there. You can put, I mean, everything, car rental information, appointments, and I mean, and I can color code it all. So like purple, that's when I'm traveling. Green is personal stuff. Red is all my travel stuff. So it's all color coded, which is awesome. And not only that, when you have any of your stuff sent to Gmail, or if you have an external server set up on Gmail, like mine is Toni@ToniVans.com, automatically, if there's an event in there, it puts it into the calendar for you. So it's awesome. Okay, you're...
Derek is our husband. Very
technical. Yeah, Arlene's like, Derek's been wanting to do this forever. So yeah, it's, you know what, it's, I used to be, give me one of those really big 8x11 notebooks that were like this thick, like Franklin Covey. I used to use those all the time, and no, now that I have this, I never have to worry, and I don't have to pack an extra heavy calendar. Mm-hmm. So where do I keep my prospect list, or how do you track and follow up? Okay, so you guys, so I honestly use Facebook for everything. And now some people aren't on Facebook, so if it's Instagram or if it's LinkedIn, I don't even carry business cards with me anymore. I automatically go to their social media forum of choice, and I say, okay, where's the best way to stay connected with you on social media? So if it's LinkedIn, it's LinkedIn. If it's Facebook or Instagram, I refuse to use Twitter. What I do is, as soon as I meet them and we've talked, I send them a personal message and I say, it was so great to meet you today. I said, I was really honored, and I would love to get you to know you better. Can we sit down for coffee? And, so that's how I start the whole process. Once I've sat down with them, and they go into my Google Calendar, sat down with them to coffee to see if they're at all interested or if they have referrals for me, then that goes into, and again, when I had my paper system, I used to, put them and section them into places in my notebook by tab. But now what I do is I have folders in Google Drive where I actually, Naomi and Lisa do it for me now. I don't do it myself anymore because it's too grand of a big thing. But we go in, and I have separate Google Drives for their contact information, where I met them, when I met them, where they are at the process of the sales cycle. So the sales cycle technically with us is 5 steps. Well, really 7 if you want to count, 5 to 7 yeses, or, it takes 5 to 7 no's to get to a yes. But where they are in the sales cycle. So there's prospecting. There is inviting, there's the presentation, then there's actually asking for objections, asking for questions. There's the asking phase, and then the close. So it's really 5 steps, and I have them all broken down where they're in at. And then I have a 6th file that says no, not right now. So I know that I'm following up with them frequently, and I'm just putting on the date the last time I talked to them and what their quick response was in 3 to 5 words or less. That's honestly, so you guys, Lisa has digitized everything for me. So if you're familiar with Google Drive, sometimes some people use a CRM. I personally have tried 3 of them. I've hated them all. And then our Monat back office is supposed to, I think they said by the end of Q3, be a full-on system where it's going to work like a functional CRM. Like I had in my last company, I loved it, but it's not functional yet. So I've just been dumping everything into Google Drive right now.
Oh, that's awesome. I do have one more question because it's on a topic of 3-way calls. This is, for those of you who don't know, this is how I got into this company. I had a 3-way call with Toni. I was put on a line with Toni. I don't know if you still remember that, Toni.
Oh, yeah.
But, those things still work even with all the social media and everything going on. But I find that a lot of people don't know what to say or how to invite people to a 3-way call. What would be your best script to give to them? Let's say after they have seen the Meet Monat video or presentation, and then there should be time for a 3-way call.
Okay, so you know what? Actually, I'm going to back up. I'd rather get them on a 3-way call than show them anything first. It depends on where they are in the decision-making process. So if I meet someone and I say, if you're at all interested in our product or our business, the business may not be a right fit for you, but if you just have 10 minutes where I can just go through some basic information, it's going to give you more education. I don't know what I don't know, so I'm still learning, and I would really love to get my friend Mandy on the phone with me, because she can help me learn while I'm getting this information, and then you can get all the information to make an educated decision. And I tell them, I said, we're not going to force you into anything. I just want to find out to see if it may be a fit for you or somebody that you know. Okay. I do not send anybody any information electronically. I want to be on a Zoom. I want to be over the phone with them or face to face, because they very easily can say no to a video. or think that they know everything because they saw something on social media, which is not the fact at all. So yeah, so those, and I call them connection calls. And especially with a new person, those are really, really important. Just say, hey, you know what, if you're kind of, willy-nilly about asking them, just say, hey, I need your opinion and I need to learn this. So can you give me 10 minutes? I would, I'd love to learn from my friend Mandy or Pile or Toni or whoever. I'd love to learn from them. Just 10 minutes. And you know what? I'll send you some samples your way. Bribe them. Because 9 times out of 10, they're going to become either a retailer VIP or a market partner by the end of that phone call or thinking about it. So then you've got to get them to the next exposure.
Awesome. Thank you. That's fantastic.
Okay. Renee asked me to training on what, honey? The 5 steps?
Oh, let me take her off the mute. 1 second. Okay, go, Renee.
Okay, thanks. That was back when you were talking about the the Google Drive and like sorting your people and that sort of thing.
I'll have Lisa do a training on it. That's not my forte.
That's the hardest part, is like tracking all these people, and I've got paper,
Yeah.
I've got stuff on my phone, and it's just keeping organized. That takes time. And
It does.
I reach out to more people, and then later.
But so I used to stick Post-it notes everywhere, and that system worked for me for a long time. But I always say, don't try to force yourself into something that makes you really uncomfortable or something that you don't want to learn that you're against, because you're going to waste too much brain energy. Obviously, you have a system that's not working for you, correct?
I wish it was better. It's working okay, but my brain is scattered, and I want to be more organized.
Okay. All right. Yes. So you know what, actually, you know what I'll do? I'll have, Suzanne Krieger's really good at organization. So, I call her the binder queen. So, she's really good at tracking that kind of stuff. So let me get with her, because I think we need to propose this not only from being digitized, but also in between. So let me check with her and see what she's got going on and see if she can do a Facebook live training in our group.
Thank you.
Sure. So is that it? Any other questions before we wrap it up?
I think we've got it all. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That looks like everything. Well, thank you everyone for being on the call. Make sure that you share the link that I will be posting in Freedom Factory with all your team members. We want to get this in front of everybody. And the biggest thank you, Toni, to you. I cannot believe that you had a chance to take time out of your days. I know how busy you are, traveling and supporting your personal team. And so we really, really appreciate you being here and giving us these kick-ass tips.
Yeah, well, you're more than welcome. And I was honored, and I just love doing it. So, and thank you for asking. Absolutely. Not often people ask. I'm like, hey, I've got time. Let's do this. Yeah. And I would rather, okay, between you and I'd rather you guys get training from those people that you respect within Monat than going outside of the box, because you don't have to.
For sure. Absolutely. Yep. Well, thank you. I'm going to stop recording this call. So thanks everyone for being here.